Wow, it's really weird starting this all alone all of a sudden. Hey everyone, my name is Minamizawa. Hope's capture code is broken, so he cannot be co-streaming with us today. Hopefully that will get resolved soon enough, but they have given me permission to wrap this case up before I completely forget how it's going. So that's cool, I guess. Anyway, on the off chance there's anyone here who doesn't know me all that well, my name's Minamizawa. I'm a forensic scientist from the world of mysteries, and my stomach has been killing me all day. But we'll have to live with it. We're here with Rude Film. We were in the middle of Case 2 when we last left off, so we're kinda all adrift. But to summarize, there is a professor of local history and culture and such. His wife is dead. She breathed that poison toxic gas that happens when you mix bleach and ammonia, which is a shitty way to go. -5 stars, would not recommend. And there was another guy, was boning her, who is not her husband. He's also dead. He's hanging from the ceiling in his home. Did he commit suicide? Hope somehow thinks so. I know better. We're at Suwano Station now. Why? I don't remember. It's been like 3 weeks since the last time we played this. But I'm alone, so I guess I got to do the voice acting myself now. Suwano Station area is quite relaxed now. Perhaps because the Hoshiai Festival is over. I don't remember what we were doing here. What do you want? They look at the station building for a while, but they see no passengers coming and going. Wouldn't it be coming or going if there's no one there? No one going in either direction? That makes sense, right? Sure is quiet around here. My boy, this peace is what all true warriors strive for. Then again, it is a weekday in June. Asphalt's probably melting into their shoes, haven't I? Rad. I mean, there's people over there. Do you have anything for me? When Yagama makes eye contact with a tourist, she takes out her phone and bows her head. We did this already. How many pictures can we take of one person? Continuing without hope? But that's hopeless. I mean, that's where I am all the time anyway, so that's nice. And it dawns on me that since we're not having to sync up our audio with each other, I don't actually have any obligation to continue the voice acting. That's probably good for my vocal cords. But also, it might be dissonant, and us doing funny voices is basically the closest thing to a good joke either of us did in that entire stream series. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Director, there's an accessory stall over here. Is that doing anything for anyone? Can I go check it out? Anything at all? Anyone? Weller. Girls really have an eye for that, huh? Sure, go ahead. Women. Thanks. Little Hut cheerfully nods and dashes off. The others follow leisurely behind. Oh, there's the Jesus-looking fellow again, I remember this. I catch up to her. He is already cheering and has several accessories in hand. You know, Jesus almost certainly did not actually look like the stereotypical image of Jesus we have. the only actual first-person description of his appearance anywhere in all of existence describes him as being totally unremarkable for a person living in that part of the world in the time he did, which means he was almost certainly like 5'4" at the tallest. Would have had short hair. What I'm saying is, if they want to make an actual accurate movie depiction of any film, any book of the Bible featuring JC, they'd have to cast Danny DeVito. When they catch up to her, Hito's already cheering and has had several accessories in hand. Did you make these yourself? Like, totally, dude. Each one's handmade and one of a kind. Please buy, like, vibes with you, dude. Might recommend these. Mustached, long-haired hippie of a salesman shows off his wares. Where does he get off? As Yakumo watches Hito inspect each item, Magari tugs at his sleeve. Director. Now these match? Match what Mrs. Kuramachi was wearing. We saw this scene last time, but they're letting us rewatch it. I don't know if that means I didn't save until after we saw it, or if they're just repeating for our benefit. Either way, I appreciate it. Gasp! Impossible. Now that she mentions it... He looks so intense. When it finally clicks, Yakumo hastily takes out the printed picture and shows it to the salesman. Sir, is this one of your wares? Perhaps even one of your hears? Is Japanese for now you know. Yeah, man, totally. That design was my thing like half a year ago. But it gotta be from back then. Do you remember who bought it? Sorry to be a bummer, dude. Half a year's a long time ago. He's being remarkably calm about all this. I mean, he is probably high as a kite, so I suppose it's only natural. Showed him a photo of Mrs. Kuramachi, it might jog his memory. You can't just show him a picture of her body. So what do I do? Well, if that's our direction, then the solution would probably be to go bug someone who would reasonably have a picture of her body. Like, say, the place she lived. That makes sense to my mind. They peek at Kuramachi's mansion from a distance. Several officers are talking about something as they take down the police tape. Not that I wanted to take down the police tape. It's like popping bubble wrap, that's half the fun of having it. Looks like the on-site investigation's over. Yep. Once they're gone, we should be allowed in. Does that mean... Nope, they're just not letting us in. It's gonna take them a very long time to take down all that tape, don't you know? Alright, who else here would reasonably have a photo of the lady? lost you. At the Takinodani Inari Shrine grounds, they find Shiba. She's leaning against the guardrail, looking down at the view below, deep in thought. They're not letting us leave without talking to her. As someone with severe social anxiety, this is a punishment. Shiba. She twitches at the sound of her name, but smiles and dashes over when she realizes it's Yagumo. That is a long walk. You're out here today, huh? I don't remember which of us voiced her last time. So I don't know if I had a voice prepared already. Oh, I was thinking you might be here too, Shiba. Oh, did you need me for something? My mouth is very tiny. I just wanted to ask you something about Mrs. Kuramochi. The Mrs., huh? That's a weird way to put that. Shiba's expression stiffens the moment she hears the mention of Kuramochi's wife. In an attempt to calm her down, Yakumo puts on the biggest smile he can as he continues. No, it's nothing too difficult. Just curious if she mailed letters to early on. My eyes are crinkling so hard I actually can't see the text box anymore. Mailed letters? Like physical paper letters? In this day and age? Seems unlikely, don't you think? Yeah, not like email or line, paper, letters. I don't think so. Dr. Kuramochi has the only mail key and checks all the mail, so I doubt she had any personal letters. So she would have had to go handing stuff off in another manner. She was a very conservative old Japanese man's wife. Was she allowed to leave the house? She's a maid. She probably didn't do her own grocery shopping. I see. Yes. Very interesting. I'm not suspicious. Makes sense. Besides, there's no point writing letters. We've all got smartphones these days, right? Am I right, ladies? Well, the missus is banned from smartphone use, so I wouldn't say we've all got them. Oh my god! Synesthesia! I reminded myself how to pronounce it since last stream. This game's very wiggly. Its best quality, it's wiggles. Sure this will come up later? That's why it's there after all. Banned from smartphone use. Why? Who even has the right to say that? She's like 40. Yes. When Yagumo asks the question, Shiba puts her hand up to her mouth, realizing her mistake. It would seem that it's a touchy subject for her. Take the shot. Shiba, smartphone ban seems a little odd in this day and age. I mean, even little children in schools are allowed to have them on their persons nowadays. Who exactly banned her from smartphone usage and why, I say, as though I don't already know. Let's see, it's not something she can talk about. That's disappointing. Shiba's eyes wander as she goes quiet. not gonna talk that easily, huh? Well, in that case... Sorry, but it looks like I'll have to resort to emotional manipulation. Yagama puts on a troubled face as if to curry sympathy from her. Shiba, we're in a bind here. Please tell us that as witnesses we can't leave Tsuwano until the case is solved. What? Really? Yeah! We're going way over budget we set aside for food and lodging for location scouting. Right, Maggie? This rate, studio's gonna run out of funds in 2-3 days, right? Nagari blinks in confusion initially, but quickly catches on to what he's getting at and plays along. Yeah. The expenses just keep piling up and our checks are gonna start bouncing. I don't know why we made them out of rubber. Our loans are piling up and we're bankrupt. The fundamentals of the economy will deteriorate and trigger a global depression. I'll be jobless by next month. It's that bad? Yeah, it's that bad. Considering the state of the economy, it's actually not all that unlikely. To prevent it, we gotta solve the case. Wait, so Shiba, please, tell us everything you know. Does a man with that jacket really look like he's that hard up for money, though? I do love whenever you see like a game or an anime where they just say fuck plausibility and realism and just give everybody incredibly fancy designer clothes whatever they're supposed to be like. Can't deny the game has character. Okay. I'll talk. For the sake of the global economy. Yes! Thank you, Shiba. So, first, about that smartphone ban. Yes, well, say. Dr. Kuramochi's been suspecting that his wife's been cheating. No! You don't mean he has a clear, obvious motive? About half a year ago, he confiscated her phone and banned her from going outside by herself. I see. So the reason he has the only male key is part of cutting her off from the outside, huh? Yes. Also, he told me to keep an eye on her whenever he's not home. He also makes me entertain all the guests. Isn't that a form of domestic violence? Man, a J mystery where you're actually happy when the culprit winds up getting arrested and going to jail? That's new. Yagamo stops mid-sentence when he considers that Shiba respects Kuramochi. Some people are just dumb like that, you know? Instead, he asks a more essential question. So, did she actually cheat on him? I do not know. Do you know? Because I do not know. Go to such extremes that he must have had at least some reason to suspect her, right? It's not like any man has ever been violently jealous over literally nothing before. I go that far. About a year ago, she called over a man named Ito to tune her piano. And we don't know whether or not that's a euphemism for something. Must have really seemed to hit it off. You visited her several other times in one day. Kuramochi saw them together and got mad. Yes. And by Ito, you mean Seiya Ito. I see. Explains why we saw Kuramochi's mansion yesterday. Mrs. Kuramochi's death and Seiya Ito's suicide had to be connected somehow, like they have the same culprit or something. How else would they die on the same day in different places? Yagura places his hand on his chin in thought. Turns his head slightly to the side and goes, all pensively. As he does so, Shiba timidly speaks up. Is that all? Is what all? I've told you everything I know. Can I go now? Police lockdown on Dr. Kuramochi's house is lifting today, so I'm going to ask if I can help. You are? Sure, you can go now. Of course. Thanks to you, it seems our studio can survive. Thank you so much, Shiba. You can't see it, but I'm giving the computer dual finger points. Well, that's great to hear, in that case. She probably feels guilty about revealing the secrets of the Kuramochi household. Well, you know, maybe she just wants to get away from the crazy person. Shiba walks away, sadly. Well, that was probably a fruitful, enlightening conversation. That's so cruel. He locked her inside and confiscated her phone, too? That poor woman. Once she was out of sight, Yuta finally breaks her silence, sounding somewhat mad. Only somewhat, though. There are limits to these sorts of things. I agree. That's a form of domestic violence. Yeah. With a husband like that, it's no wonder why she'd cheat, is it? Hitoha? Do you think she was cheating on him? With Seiya Ito? Probably. Which is why I think those two. But it's okay. Just say what's on your mind. I think those two committed a lover's suicide. No, it's not possible. Psychologically speaking, there's no point of committing a lover's suicide if it's going to be separated by location and at least a few hours. When was the last time you heard about a lover's suicide where they weren't together at the moment they died, huh? 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 Can't answer me that one, can you? Lover's suicide, huh? That would explain the note we found at her feet. Caged birds chose to die the same day, so they could at least be together in death. Problem was how to communicate the day when she was cut off from the outside. Oh, that's simple. Just fold up the note and yeet it over the fence. But then her husband might find it before her. So yeeting it over the fence is not an option. And how would she respond? Toss it over the fence and hope he picks it up? Well... can solve that mystery, we can get close to the truth. Let's look into it a bit more. Everyone nods and they leave the Taikodani Inari Shrine grounds. Does that mean we can go back to the mansion now? They finally finished taking off the massive amounts of tape they apparently had. Did you go to Mochi's mansion from a distance? Nope. Still thoroughly taped up. Okay, sure. Well then. Let's go to the other shrine. A suspicious man suddenly stands between Studio Yagumo and Yasuka Shrine. Yep, that is a pretty suspicious man, I gotta give you that one, game. You. Is your hand stuck like that? Is that... You know him, Hita? He's probably the actor known as Nego 6. Nego 6? You are Nego 6, right? We don't talk about what happened in Negos 1 through 5. It's time for the first Baki Baki Shimane quiz. Duh. How do you do that with your eye sockets? Why do you want to? No, he ignored me. This quiz is about Suwano's other famous shrine, the Taikodani Inari Shrine. Inari is usually written as rice load, but Taikodani Inari writes it as rice blessing. Why? That sounds most right to me. The loading zone is for unloading of rice and only rice, though. Fuck! I'm gonna smack your ugly mug, you know that? Man says just that and disappears like the wind. He just kinda said what he wanted to say and scrammed, huh? The Enigma Nego 6. Is he friend or foe? I don't think he's either. I think he's just here because they couldn't come up with a way to interpret all this local trivia into the game properly. So I want my goddamn answer, and by answer I mostly just mean revenge. And since the game doesn't have the mechanics necessary for me to stab this guy in the face... It's not a single person we know. Or anyone we don't know, for that matter. Apparently not many tourists come here on weekdays during daylight hours. Studio Yagumo cools off in the shade before leaving the shrine grounds. Alright, if we can't learn there... I'd say the local historical society, but apparently they're not letting us go there anymore. Huh? I met you the other day. Yagumo, right? There's also Ito there, too. When they head to Washihata Hachimangu, some familiar faces call them out. It's the magazine editor Tokima and the brother of Seiya Ito, who they saw yesterday in front of Kuromachi's mansion. I wonder if Kuromachi's mansion is as haunted as Luigi's mansion. Hello? Shoot material here today? I sure am. Oh, let me introduce you. This is Sakio Ito, my writer. I'm Ito. Unlike the down-to-earth Tokima, Ito doesn't seem all that sociable. Finally, a character who makes me feel seen. Yagumo meekly responds to Ito's blunt introduction. I'm director Max Yagumo. The man with the name you must touch. Sorry for your loss, Ito. Yes, huh? You know me? Sorry. I saw you arguing with Kuramochi yesterday. From what I overheard, I figured you were Ito's older brother. I don't know why anime-characters do that. Oh boy, you saw that? How embarrassing. Well, please understand. His younger brother just passed away. It's only understandable that he's emotional. You know, it's totally understandable. So understandable that even I can understand it, you understand? Okay, good talk. Let's talk to the person we can talk to first. Yes, it's me. I was shocked to see him so serious, but it's totally understandable. I've met his younger brother once before. They're twins, so they look so much alike. You wouldn't have brought that up if it wasn't relevant, would you? There's an alternative possibility here, though it's so totally bug-fucked, I hesitate to get too attached to it when there's another suspect. The fact that we got a synesthesia point for that is making me think. Interesting. Twins. They're twins? Yes, they've got a similar face and figure, but different hair and general vibe. The younger one's much more serious. See, must have been a shock, huh? Twins, huh? I know twin-switching tricks are a staple of the mystery genre, but maybe I'm just overthinking things. There is a limit to how straight you can pull a twins trick in this day and age, but also please consider this is kind of a budget game. I never thought I'd get caught in an incident like this when I came here to shoot material. Man, it's like looking in a mirror. I sent in the manuscript, but the editorial department was shocked when I told them. Yeah, I can imagine. Are you gonna cover the incident too, now that you're here? No, we're just a travel magazine. Even if I shoot anything, there's no space for it. As opposed to me, you can shoot whatever the hell I want. Myra, good. Fuck yeah, I see. Well, that makes sense. Alright, you got anything for me? Ito. About what you told Kuramochi yesterday, concerning his wife's infidelity. Heard that too. Well, you said it so loudly, so sorry. Well, whatever. Basically, a car seduced my younger brother into committing suicide with her. So she and your younger brother committed a lover's suicide? Dying in completely different places can be called a lover's suicide, then yes, I suppose. So you did pick up on that, okay, I'm not completely wrong. As usual. My brother and I were classmates with Kari back in high school. Oh god, my brain! kind of nice the purple wavy effect on the sides there too. That's pretty neat. I mean, I'm sure it's just like some pre-packaged plugin or something, but you know, they're making good use of it. And in the end, that's what actually matters. My brother loved Akari. Never confessed. After graduation, she went to Tokyo. When she came back, she married the geezer because of money. My brother felt bad for her ever since, and she dragged him into a lover's suicide. You're sure she married because of money? Sure couldn't have been because of his incredible winning personality? Hey, it ain't his looks, he's like 20 years older. So it must be her dad. Not her daddy. I could have gone my entire life without ever hearing you say that. Plus, something must have happened to her in Tokyo. Kara came back with a bad burn scar on her neck, so that was there beforehand, huh? Synesthesia? Oh, okay. Sure, why not? That doesn't sound important. Old man Kuramochi took advantage of her in her time of weakness. Oh. I see. So, was that what the mark on her neck was? It's not be directly related to the case then, except for its obvious connection to the motive. Ito, on the day your brother died, were you? What, you want my alibi? You're not even a detective. Maybe just because you're the protagonist of a mystery game that makes you some kind of detective or some malarkey. That ain't how this shit works. No, I was just wondering when you got to 2-0. I'm grumpy. Ito falls silent at Yagumo's question. Noticing the tension between the two, Tokima cuts in. He was with me all afternoon and night that day. I can vouch for him. No. Is that so? Yes. Us two arrived in Suwano that afternoon. And then, until about 6 p.m., we were at Takudani Inari Shrine. They were interviewing the chief priest. You've got a pretty detailed memory. Do you have synesthesia? Well, we were interviewed by police too. I remember since I had to explain over and over. They hit me with a phone book because it didn't leave bruises. I see. Ito aside, I don't think Tokima's lying. Guess they both got perfect alibis, just like Kuramochi, which paradoxically makes them more suspicious. That's a little of what you've got to say. Ito, how long are you staying here? Who knows? The plan was to go home after we got enough material, but things happened. You know, things. It's the way a punk like me would talk, right? Besides, I gotta hold a funeral for my brother, so I'll be here for a while. That's all we got to talk about then? I will be taking my leave then. Good talk. Gonna go back here one more time since they mentioned there was a chief priest we could talk to. Nothing doing? Alright. Now, can we go back to the mansion? Yes! They peek at Kuramochi's mansion from the streets. The on-site investigation seems almost complete. The police tape's been taken off the entrance and only 1 or 2 officers are coming and going. Yeah, think we can go in now? Looks like it. Let's go see Kuramochi. I have a lot of words for him. As Studio Yaguma passes through the gate, some familiar faces stand in their way. Chase it, it's the cops! Whoa, 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 whoa. What do you guys think you're doing returning to the scene of the crime? Stop right there, criminal scum. Pigs are still here. Man, this cast is great. What? Who are you calling pigs? My bad. I meant the detectives. It's a hideous tie. Why are you wearing that? Snooping as usual, I see. With a camera, huh? You must confiscate your tapes again? Hang on, what we're filming right now is unrelated to the case. You've got no right to confiscate it. What? You're filming the crime scene. Police tape's gone, which means it's no longer off limits. Right. Which means the only one with the right to prohibit filming here is the owner, Kuramochi. Besides, Kuramochi is our guide. Is there a problem with us visiting him? Told me shouldn't have that burrito. Now look at him. He looks at me. And I look at him. And he looks at me. After staring down Yagumo, Misawa realizes he's got a point and gets out of the way. Studio Yagumo ignores the fact that Misawa is still glaring at them as they head to the entrance. Take that, the police! Score 1 for the good guys. Then Keishino calls out from behind. Hey. Still need something? Yagumo turns around dubiously, but Keishino ignores him and steps up to Hitaha. Hitaha freezes in place fearfully at the detective's sudden approach. Gasp. Can I help you? Keishino.exe is rebooting. Please wait. You're Hitaha Amakata, right? Yes? Can I shake your hand? I've been a big fan since I saw your gravure pics. You would. Okay, if that's all, sure. When Hitaha timidly holds out her hand, Keishino firmly grabs it with both of his. Firmly grasp it in your hand. Firmly grasp it. Firmly grasp it. Firmly grasp it. Thank you. I'm moved. This officer will keep supporting you. Thank you. What an eccentric performance. Hita thanks Keishino with a professional customer service smile. Once her hand is finally free, Hita heads to the entrance with the others. What do you think you're doing in the middle of an investigation? Haha! My internal organs. Studio Yakumo hears Misawa shouting and Keishino whispering behind them. Oh, good talk. Alright, I guess we should start in the reception just to be polite. Sitting in the reception room with Kuramochi is an unfamiliar person in a white coat. Man, this case has a huge cast. Sorry, you're entertaining a guest? Oh, don't worry about it. He was about to leave. Just Kuramochi said, the man puts on his shoes and gets off the sofa to bid his farewell. Well then, I must be going. You too. Thank you for coming. I'm sure Kari would be happy. There's another word. The man in the white coat bows to Studio Yakumo and leaves the room. Having not even taken anyone away, haha. Who was that? That was Haruya, the neighborhood doctor and Akari's classmate in high school. Came here to light an incense stick. Is that so? I'm so sorry about what happened. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm sorry you got dragged into this mess, which totally wasn't my fault. I'm not evil. Besides, if it weren't for your quick actions, Shiba and I could have easily ended up dead too. So, thank you all. Oh, don't mention it. Kuramochi must be mentally and physically drained, as even his words seem powerless. Yakumo has few words to say to him in that state, so he quickly excuses himself from the room. I forgot if sandwich real quick. I haven't eaten yet. Shiba's in the kitchen, struggling with several trash bags. Damn, bitch, you live like this? Shiba, are you cleaning up the trash? No, I think she's just admiring it. Yes? Yesterday was garbage day, but I couldn't enter the mansion and toss these away. Jeez. I wish we could have gotten rid of all this raw garbage. It's hot this time of year. Due to the police blockade after the incident, the trash hasn't been taken out, it seems. What sort of an investigation would this be if we didn't take a chance to investigate the trash, I ask of you? Just as Sheep said, the odor of raw garbage is wafting around the kitchen. Anything in the fridge? It's a pretty big refrigerator. But I was just mentioning Mrs. Kuramochi here. Dr. Kuramochi bought a large refrigerator so his wife could stock up and reduce grocery trips. How considerate of him, huh? It's totally not because he didn't want her going outside. I see. Is there anything in the fridge? She seems to think that Kuramochi bought his wife a large refrigerator out of love, but... You can also see it as him being overbearing to reduce her opportunities to go outside. That's what I'm saying. Or maybe just reading too much into it. Shiva grumbles as she sorts through the garbage. What now? It's so hot, and the next burnable trash day is the day after tomorrow. What do I do about the smell? Hearing about it makes me shiver. What's more, I have to transfer these to the city-specified bags. I ought to complain to the police. Just like in general, they have it too good for too long. Alright? Well, I said it, I should do it at some point. Let's sort through the garbage. What's that? Yakumo noticed something out of place in one of the trash bags. What's wrong? Oh, thanks. Yakumo suddenly sticks his hand in the open trash bag and rummages around. There's a sink right there. We'll wash afterwards. It's fine. It's fine, chat. Wait, what do you do? What are you doing? Yago ignores the shocked women and continues to rummage through the trash. Eventually, he pulls out a small capsule. What's that? It's a small capsule. You didn't read the narrative caption? Capsule? Not a capsule toy. This isn't the sort of gacha the kids are into nowadays. What would this be doing here? I think so. Look, there's more on the bottom. What's with these, Shiba? I don't know, but I've seen them several times when cleaning the trash can in her room. Fascinating, Captain. Are they a hobby of hers? And your capsule toys are so well made these days, so even adults collect them. I don't think that's the sort of gacha we're talking about here. Can't say I've seen anything like those in her room. These things are supposed to contain miniature character figures and stuff, right? Yeah. Usually, anyway, but... Yakumo recalls the sight of the room when he found Mrs. Kuramochi's body. There wasn't the slightest hint of such childish commodities to be found in that room. You know, I used to play bass guitar for the childish commodities. And why would she have these? Yakumo ponders over the capsule in his hand. Well, capsules are round if there was a, way to roll them in the right direction. You could put them in places you couldn't put things by just yeeting them over the wall, for instance. Yuta peeks into his hand and timidly speaks up. Director? Doesn't this look kind of off? These holes look like they're plugged up with something. Yakumo looks at the part of the capsule Yuta was pointing at. There are small air holes in the bottom of the capsule, so it's easier to open. But those holes are filled with a clear sealant. Now we need a needle and thread, and we'll have all the pieces necessary to, make a real convoluted physical check of some sort. Don't know why that music is insinuating that Jason Voorhees is chasing us. In a panic, Yakumo sticks his hand back into the trash bag. This one. And this one. And this one, too! You're right, Hitoha. The air holes have been plugged up in all of them. As he rolls several capsules in his hands, Yakumo thinks to himself, at a loss for words. Everyone around him can only look at the capsules, too baffled to come up with an answer. Alright, what's in the second trash bag? Will it be equally important? If you look closely, all the trash bags are open. If you don't look closely, that's still true, though. Judging by the wrinkled plastic at the tops, it seems they were all tied and untied. Why were these all opened? Oh, right. Listen to this. I tied these all up to take out the trash, but the police opened them all up. They didn't even notice the actual evidence inside. It's fucked up, bruh. I see. So they rummaged through the trash during the investigation, huh? Police are gonna police. Screenshotted? Yeah, but the bugs are out in swarms this season. It'd be weird if they were out in troops, or armies, or gatherings. This is the worst. Anything more to report? Capsule toy capsules were in the trash can in Mrs. Kutamochi's room, huh? Can't see a rich woman having such a childish hobby. That's clearly the most suspicious thing about them. Visible from the open trash bags are fruit and vegetable scraps, letting out a foul smell. Raw trash, huh? It smells putrid. You know, like trash smells. Yeah, that seems to be the limit of it. Yep, that's all we've got to do here. Stop the crime scene again, just in case. Alrighty then. Leading the group, Yakumo takes a sudden turn, causing Magadi to slam into his back. Ow. Rude. Hey, don't just suddenly stop like that. Ugh, look at that. Yakumo points down the hall. It's a police. Chase it, it's the cops. Mrs. Kutamochi's room is still taped off, and there's an officer standing there watching guard with an imposing stance. How imposing. Looks like the on-site investigation isn't over yet. Typically, investigations start wide and narrow in scope as work progresses. They must still see a need to investigate the most important room where the body was found. Anyway, they cannot enter Mrs. Kutamochi's room as long as the officer is standing guard. Studio Yakumo draws back away from the hall as the officer stares at them coldly. Well, we tried. Nothing more to report, you? Kutamochi's still sitting on the sofa, dumbfounded and not doing anything in particular. Big mood. He's just pensively rubbing his fingertips. Sorry, Kutamochi? I want you to look at something. What is it? It's my new mixtape. Would you like to see? Here. Yakumo rummages through his pockets with his unwashed, garbage-stained hand. He pulls out the magnified image of the necklace that Mrs. Kutamochi was wearing. Man, they didn't even give me a warning before starting that ad break. That was, very rude of them. Kutamochi's eyebrows twitch dubiously. Not entirely sure what having your eyebrows twitch dubiously even looks like. Well, I can imagine twitching your eyebrows. I do it myself all the time, but dubiously? Does this look familiar to you? No. Doesn't. Is it somehow connected to my wife's death? Perhaps. If it doesn't look familiar to you, that's fine. As the image is zoomed in, it appeared he hadn't recognized the pattern in his wife's kimono. Disappointed, Kutamochi returns the picture to Yakumo. His fingertips seem slightly red and inflamed. Is that why he was rubbing his fingertips when I got in the room? Kuramochi, what happened to your fingers? They seem inflamed. And knowing you, probably not with passion. Not sure why, but they've been red for a while. Maybe I got stung by bugs cleaning the garden. Oh, you were cleaning the garden. We need external confirmation of that. The cops trampled my garden, tossed white powder everywhere, and left without cleaning up. I mean, hey, you got free white powder out of it, that's something. Yeah, that's what on-site investigations are like, apparently. Now you know. In on-site investigations, officers search drawers and scatter aluminium fingerprinting powder, causing quite a mess. But typically, the officers do not clean up, leaving property owners to fend for themselves. Bothers me a bit. Maybe I should have had Hatley take a look at it. Sorry, is it okay if I go visit his clinic? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. If you need anything while I'm gone, I'm sure Shiba can help. Feel free to ask her. He leaves the room, rubbing his fingers, concerned. Okay, in my head, he's just like rubbing his whole hand together like a little fly plotting your downfall. That's probably not what they were going for, but it's entertaining. Ah, crap, I forgot to ask for a picture of his wife, you fool! Who else could have a photo of his wife? Surely not the person she was actually sleeping with. She was still in the kitchen, catching her breath as she struggles with the crash bags. They're not helping her, I got shit to do. Alright, maybe Shiba has a picture she took of Mrs. Kuramochi. With that in mind, Yakumo decides to ask. Say, Shiba, do you happen to take any photos of Mrs. Kuramochi when she was still alive? Huh? Oh. Yeah, I took a picture with her last year for a birthday celebration. Yo. Great, that'd be a big help. Take it on your phone? Yes. Let me send it to you? Yes, please. I'd appreciate it. After a moment, there was the notification that the photo was sent. Didn't even have to exchange phone numbers or anything. It's magic. Smiling on the photo is Shiba and Mrs. Kuramochi, posing in front of a cake. Okay, but what kind of cake is it? Oh, it was your birthday, huh? Yes. She remembered my birthday and celebrated it with me. Even though I'm a mere servant girl, she actually humanized me somewhat. She was such a nice, wonderful wife. Shiba's eyes tear up. Yakumo turns away and looks at the photo again. I never saw her when she was alive, but she certainly was beautiful. She does indeed seem quite nice. Very nice. Very nice, Ishiza-chan. In the back of his mind, Yakumo recalls the agony on her face when he found her body. Why must such a gentle lady meet such a cruel end? The urge to find the truth burns within him as he puts away his phone. He doesn't know if he can call that justice, but he does know that he has to do something. Oh, we got our photo, that's the important bit. Let's go harass Jesus again. That's not a sentence I was expecting to say when I woke up this morning. To the train station. The Tsuno station area is quite relaxed now, perhaps because the Hoshiai festival is over. Jesus? Are you there? He is. Sir, can you take a look at this picture? Yaguma shows the peddler a picture of Mrs. Kutamochi on his phone. We think this woman's the one who bought that accessory we showed you earlier. Was it? Sorry, dude, I'm like, not really sure. So, if it wasn't her, it was probably the guy she was diddling. As the accessory peddler pretends to ponder, Yakumo clicks his tongue and turns to the girls. Hita, Nagari, pick out something you like. I'll pay. Huh? Really? Are you sure? Sure, I'm sure. Pick out whatever you'd like. Alright. Thanks, dude. As the second coming of the Lord, it's my prerogative to interfere with criminal investigations for money. Yakumo gets right up into the smug accessory peddler's face. Enough with the games, pal. That jogged your memory, didn't it? Yeah. Of course I remember her. I mean, a kimono beauty like her sticks it like a sore thumb as a customer here. So it was definitely the woman in the picture who bought that pendant. Okay, so it was her directly. Actually, I guess it was less her buying it, more like it was bought for her. I knew it. What for? Was it with someone else? Yeah, man, around her age. They held hands, so I guess he was her boyfriend or her husband. Around her age. Wasn't Kuramochi, huh? So was it Seiya Ito? What did the man look like? He's wearing a mask, so I don't know. Seemed pretty serious, at least. I see. Wish we had a way of finding out who she was with. If only I had a picture of Seiya Ito. As soon as he looks at Kanade, inspiration flashes in Yakumo's mind. Oh, Kanade, you are the best character in this game. Kanade. Hmm? Remember we met Seito's brother Sakyo, that Washihara Hachimangu? You got his face on film? Did you pull up a clear shot of him? Kanade fiddles with the video camera until he finds an appropriate scene and hands it off. Okay, so, could you take a look at this? Did the man who was with the kimono lady look something like this man? I don't know, dude. He's got a pretty different vibe. That's his twin brother. His hair and vibe are probably different, but their faces should match. Alright. Right, his hair. He's got the same eyes and nose. So the culprit stole his eyes and nose to steal his identity. Diabolical. mouth was covered by a mask, but his eyes like totally match. His hair wasn't dyed and he had like a serious vibe to him. I see. So it appears that Mrs. Kuramochi and Seito did indeed have a special relationship. Is this the only reason they introduced the twins? It could be. I still don't particularly suspect him. And Mrs. Kuramochi was wearing the accessories Seito bought her when she died. Meaning... Satisfied with this newfound evidence, Yagumo shakes the peddler's hand. Thanks. That's some helpful information. Heck no, biggie man. Thank you for buying. We have a mutually reciprocal relationship. Conservative Jesus. He finally exists. So with that said, the latest total comes out to 5,800 yen. That's a lot. Give me a formal receipt. A formal receipt? Like, you have no stall? That's like crazy talk, man. I gotta pay out of pocket for that, too. Yakumo tearfully takes out his wallet. Incidentally, of the 5,800 yen total, Hita's was 600 yen and Nagati's was 5,200. Good job, Nagati. Alright, we haven't been to the rice store in a while. You got anything for us? They visit Yoshinaga Rice Store, and Yagumo gazes blankly at the carp pond once again. Suddenly, Yagumo gets an idea and calls up the store owner. Say, you aware that Kuramochi kept carp at his house? Kuramochi? Oh, yeah. He's got a pretty nice pond at home. Does the pond use water from a nearby spring? Yeah. Springs connected here and there by aqueducts. So his pond draws that water. Aqueducts. I was trying to come up with a joke about aqueducts, but nothing's flowing. My eyes! The pond draws water from the aqueducts. Were either of the bodies moved? I mean, I guess all we have is a cause of death. There's no point she was killed by the gas in that room. And a moved body would explain the liver mortis facing the wrong direction. I'm still not over that. Pond water from an aqueduct. Yeah. I did the same thing here. The owner points to the edge of the pond, underneath a small stone bridge. There's a metal grating covering an opening that leads to the aqueduct. We draw water from the aqueduct and it flows over here. So that's why the pond water doesn't stagnate, huh? Exactly. If you walk from here to Hanko Yorokan, you'll see the aqueduct run parallel to the road. Right, the aqueduct cuts in front of Kuramochi's. So that's where it draws the water from, huh? So since it's all a unified system, if he closed it to grab the body or stop it from escaping, would that have had some effect we could use to narrow down the time upstream? Or downstream, as the case may be? In the evening, Studio Yagumo heads to the inn as the streets of Suano are dyed orange. Yagumo suddenly steps in his tracks up front. Hmm? What's wrong? Oh. I think I just solved the mystery. Huh? Yes, that's it. The pond. The pond's the key. It's a local tourist spot, so of course they had to incorporate it into the case. The pond? You mean at Kudamochi's place? Exactly. Let's go to Kudamochi's mansion. We gotta experiment. Whoa, wait, experiment? What do you mean? You'll see when we get there. Magari, Yuta, I'll need your help. First... Yagamo leans in and whispers the plan. Eventually, everyone nods, and they head over to Kudamochi's mansion. Radical. And then we did that thing we just said we'll do. That is a horrifying noise. You guys, again, got anything better to do than just sit and loiter? Jeez. Got no business here, then leave. We do have business, but not in the mansion. In the garden's pond. Misawa raises his eyebrows dubiously. Yagamo simply grins before continuing. Misawa, your office has been diligently investigating these past few days. Right? Mrs. Kudamochi's death and Seito's suicide are suspected to have some sort of connection. Right? Misawa doesn't confirm Yagamo's question. But the lack of a denial is enough of a reaction to tell Yagamo that he's right. So what do you need with the pond? Is some sort of key evidence sink? No, it didn't sink. It floated. That's you. That's what you sound like. Floated? Yep. In fact, it looks like they've just finished preparing for the experiments. Yagamo points towards the gate. They look to see Magari and Hitoha approaching. Director Max, we're just about finished. I'll set it floating at the designated spot. Good. Shouldn't take much time now. Let's go check the pond. Okay. Sure thing. We move to the pond and stare at the surface. Stare unblinking at the horror of fish. Two confused detectives follow behind. Of course, the detectives are always a bit confused, so that doesn't prove anything. 1 minute. 2 minutes. Nothing particular changes except maybe the carp surfacing and sinking. And then that garden is quiet, save for the occasional croaking of frogs. Hey, nothings. So turns around to Yagamo and starts talking. But then... suddenly, the pond starts rippling and all the carp start staring. What? What is that? Location at points where all the carp are gathering. On closer inspection, there's a floating capsule. The carp swarm it, perhaps mistaking it for food or perhaps a guaranteed ultra rare. I knew it. Go try picking that up. So it looks like he wants to say something, but he reaches for the floating capsule instead. Is that a sheet of paper inside? After shaking the water off the capsule, Misawa opens it and takes out the paper. He slowly unfolds it and... Made you look, dumbass! Gotcha again. You're screwing with us. Oh, no! Yakumo turns around and glares at Magari, who's sticking out her tongue, before he continues. Granted with a note aside, the experiment was a success. What? What do you mean? Many private ponds in Suwano draw spring water from aqueducts, like the famous Yoshinaga rice store. Thus, you can reliably deliver capsules to this pond via aqueduct from a certain point outside. So, have you retrieved anything like these capsules and papers from the two victims as evidence? Well, have you? Have you? I'm right, aren't I? Scene of the crime. Yes. There was a note by Mrs. Kuramochi's feet. Capsules in the trash. Her overbearing husband confiscated her phone and banned her from going outside. This is the method they came up with to communicate in secret. Capsules floating to the pond get caught by the metal grating here, where they can be collected. Similarly, responses can be sent by removing the grating and allowing flow to the outside. Since Kuramochi has no interest in the carp and lets his wife do all the work tending to it, he probably had no worries of getting caught. I see. I'm a cop. I'm legally required to hate everybody who isn't a cop. Got several questions about how you know all of that, but it's because I'm not stupid. Can't find any holes in your theory. Director? So the person she was exchanging letters with had to have been Seiya Ito. So nobody else can be. Misawa? Mrs. Kuramochi is in Ito's estimated times of death. We're around at the same time, right? Misawa hesitates before he scratches his head and answers. Well, I helped us solve one mystery, so I guess I might as well tell you that much. This doesn't make us friends, got it? Damn it, Max, you're loose cannon, turn your badge. You're right. Both died around the same time, around 4 to 6 p.m. So, you know, 2 hours apart, totally the same time. Investigations think it was a prearranged lover suicide. You know, a lover suicide separated by both time, distance, and cause of death. That's how you do it, right? Not sure if it counts since they were in different places, but that's the main theory. Thanks to you, we've got evidence backing it up. Lover suicide, huh? I suppose that's right. But is it really, though? All present falls silent. What breaks the silence is the voice of a man appearing from behind them. I see. So that's what it was. Kuramochi! What are you doing here? I live here, you jackass. How did he get there? He'd likely been listening in on the discussion for quite some time. Kudamachi walks unsteadily towards Yakumo. Have I told you the significance of the Song of the Heron's Dance? And also, do you believe in gravity? Kuramachi? It's the legend of Kengyu. That is, the story of Hikaboshi and Orihime, or Altair in Vega. In order for the separated lovers to meet, the herons use their wings to form a bridge across the heavenly river, or the Milky Way. Separated lovers. Akari and Seiya. He chose to die during the Hoshiai festival. Such a cruel attention to detail. But I treasured Akari too, you know. That's why did she and that man have to? They're crying. Either that or he stubbed his toe. At the pond side, Kudamachi falls to his knees and cries out loud, forgetting everyone else. His lamenting figure is reflected upon the now still waters of the pond in the moonlight. Anyway, the case isn't actually over. Let's keep going. Still got an actual murder to solve. At least two. A somehow nostalgic sound can be faintly heard in a dream. Yakumo sits up as if pulled up by the sound, and looks around the room in a daze. He's in a clean, Japanese-style room, completely unlike his normal room. Where am I? Right, we're staying at an inn. Suwano. It's been a while, so I forgot. Solving the letter mystery that night, they showed Kudamachi around, and then fell asleep. They're the ones who solved Kudamachi around? That doesn't, sound right. I'm thinking a minute. If, as we've been led to believe, this is a murder, and realistically speaking, that old man is our only suspect, the case is functionally an alibi case, because he was with us since the last time we saw the first victim alive, and during the entirety of the second victim's cause of death. In the order we found out they were dead, you can revert that, but you know what I'm talking about. I wonder if it has something to do with the bits where they looked identical to twins, then, I'm almost tempted to say the person in the mask we saw could be the twin brother, but that would imply he's an accomplice. I suppose it could be possible he's not an accomplice and was just out without his hair dye for his own reasons. Is there enough of a time span for him to have put the tub full of gas-producing liquid in the room ahead of time and it wouldn't have finished filling the entire room and killing her until after 4? That was my first thought as soon as I saw that it was a, tub of stuff. Yakumo scratches his head and looks out the window half asleep. You can still faintly hear the music from earlier. Is that? When I realize what the music is, Yakumo takes off his yukata and picks up his clothes. I'm a scat man. Stretch, stretch, bend, bend. Yakumo heads outside once he's changed. At the entrance, he sees Hitaha, moving her body to radio calisthenics playing on her phone. Sorry, I had to cut mic for a minute. Ah, so it was Hitaha, huh? To suddenly do radio calisthenics now? What an odd child. Unaware of Yakumo's inner thoughts, Hitaha keeps on exercising. Sight of her moving makes Yakumo want to move his body too. Move your body, 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 body. Okay. Yakumo gets next to Hitaha and starts exercising with her. While Hitaha's moving easily, Yakumo's in pain due to his lack of exercising. Totally can't relate to that. No sir, not at all, not the slightest. My joints are crying. Yakumo's face twists in pain from his joints. Hitaha speaks up while continuing to exercise. There's something that's been bugging me. What's the time of the Hoshiai Festival? What about it? The detective said doesn't line up. Huh? Yakumo suddenly stops moving and looks at Hitaha. I look at her, and she looks at me. Hitaha stops too and looks back at him. Yesterday, the detective told us the estimated time of death. Right? Yeah. Sometime between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m., alright? Isn't that odd? What do you mean? When Hoshiai's dedicated to Yasuko was written on the scrap of paper. Asuka Shrine's Hoshai dedication was at 3 p.m. Since times don't match at all.
What
did you say?
確かにそうだ。時間が合ってない。
You're right. Times don't match at all. Right. If plans changed for some reason, something's still off. How could they change plans that suddenly when they've been exchanging letters in secret?
そうだ。
Yeah. The times of death don't match the letters, so how do they match each other? Good question. Hita. The case hasn't been solved yet, has it? I don't think so. Thank God, that would have been a really dissatisfying solution. In the early morning sun, they silently exchange looks, feeling chills even though it's summer. Meanwhile, the awfully cheerful radio announcer continues the exercises on Hita's phone. Seriously? The case hasn't been solved yet? I was kind of banking on it being over by now. Nagari exclaims in exasperation. After his discussion with Hitaha, Yagumo calls for a meeting in the inn room. That said, we'll keep investigating here for a little bit longer. Sorry, but I ask for your cooperation. Well, no point stopping now. I want to know the truth too. I'm Perky. Director, what about room and board expenses? You're not gonna withhold wages, are you? It's okay. I'll manage. You can't even manage a straight face, which is a little concerning, but okay. Okay, response. Quiz time. Chinese delicacies include bear paws, shark fins, swallow nests, and the brains of monkeys. Correct! Way to go, Kanade. Director, stop messing with Kanade. Never. Kanade? Quiz time. 5 tasters. Salty, bitter, sweet, sour, and umami. Correct! Way to go, Kanade. Just mess with Kanade already. He's good at this, though. Kanade? Yeah, that's the same one. Alright. We did what we came here to do. Well, perfect, I guess. I found something a little interesting myself. Interesting. Is it a clue of some sort? Not just a clue, it could be the real culprit. Last night, I checked all of Kanade's footage from location scouting and found it. Loud and clear. It's gonna be fucking Sasquatch or something, isn't it? What was it? Way to go, Aine. What could it be? It's... Monty Python's Flying Circus. UFOs! A UFO! Nana, how could you? Huh? No reaction. Nagari, can you say that one more time? He said a UFO. There's a UFO on camera. What? A UFO? What? Why are you mocking me? Oh, come on, try telling the detectives that the real culprit is a UFO. They beat you up. It's the only actual job skill they have. No, I'm serious. It's flying, clear as day. Oh? And what shape is this UFO? A cigar? An Adamski flying saucer? A Rendlesham Forest orb of light? Or maybe a shapeshifter like the Air France 353 coincidence? Wow, you really know your stuff. Alright, no, it's too far away to tell its shape even if you zoom in on it. This is clear proof that it's an alien. Oh, sure, that's a bug or a bird. Happens a lot. No, just look and you'll see. It doesn't fly like either of those. You know how bugs and birds fly in the same way, and that way is totally different from any other way anything else flies? Okay, show me later then. You don't want to believe at all. I'm sure it'll be relevant to the case somehow. Anyway, Hitra, good job noticing the discrepancy between the time on the note and time's death. You might just be a natural as a mystery actress. Of course, if there were enough of a mystery genre in the modern day for there to be mystery actresses as a full-time job, that might mean something. Thanks, but it was just a coincidence. When I did my exercises, I had a sudden epiphany. Oh? When you did your radio calisthenics, huh? As he nods in agreement, Yagamo suddenly gets an idea in the back of his mind. A detective who gets epiphanies while exercising. That would be a perfect TV role for her. It's gonna give the wrong impression no matter how you slice it. Something wrong? Oh, no, it's nothing at all. Alright, we've triggered all the flags, we can leave the room now. For their discussion, they grab their things and get up. Okay, time for another day of investigation. I'm sure it will be as tightly focused and productive as the last one. Where do we go first? We've only been investigating Mrs. Kuramochi, so let's look into Seiya Ito's side of the story. I want some evidence that he didn't actually commit suicide so I can rub it in Hope's face. Okay, so we start with Ito's house, huh? Yeah. Well... Come on, show me the map, you know you want to. Is this it? Once they're back at Yoshinoya, Yagamo quickly instructs Kanade. Kanade, can you make a backup for all the footage you filmed so far? While we're waiting, can I take a shower? I feel all sweaty and gross. Me too. You've walked up such a sweat, my feet are so swollen too. You've been so busy today. Did so much. Your feet look the same size to me. Oh god, he's Tarantinoing! Stop him! Shut up. Not getting hit without get up. Stand up. Stand up for the rights. Everybody rests and relaxes as they wait for the backup to complete. Okay, we did it to the Tsuano streets. They head down the back streets to Sei Ito's house, only for an angry voice to shatter the silence. shut up! What do you plan on tailing me? Hey, please, calm down, Ito. I said leave me alone. How many times do I gotta repeat myself? No need to shout. We're investigating your brother's case as thoroughly as we can. So if you remember anything, please tell us. There's nothing for me to tell you. What the hell am I supposed to know about my estranged brother? Seems the detectives are holding another interrogation. Really, your powers of observation are without equal. Despite the interrogation, the detectives make no progress with Sakio Ito, who only scowls. So they leave with a bow. These two detectives are still here. It looks like they're still investigating. Maybe they're not quite satisfied with the letters in the same way we aren't. Cops being competent? Those cops specifically being competent? I think we can rule out that possibility. Maybe. Which means they may be holding on to some info that doesn't fit with the lover's suicide. Hopefully we can get the detectives to tell us what that info is. Kanade, you have anything? Oh, I was thinking the same thing. Talk to me. Yagumo calls out to Ito, who stands by the house, glaring the way the detectives left. Hello, Ito? You guys, what do you need? Oh, thought we'd pay respects to your younger brother. Like you even knew him. I don't need your sympathy. No, it's good, because you're not getting it. Besides, his funerals for close relatives only. Please respect our privacy. I see. I'm sorry for disturbing you when you're busy. It looks like the detectives were here too. I'm gonna keep bothering you, though. Sakio Ito's eye twitches at Yakumo's words before he makes his irritated response. You guys were spying on me again? Sorry. Seems we all keep bumping into each other. I'm not stalking you. Just they tell me why they treat someone's brother just committed suicide like that. Well, having multiple police interviews is normal. I wouldn't worry too much about it. It doesn't make me feel any better. You know, you seem like the type who doesn't have a lot that makes you feel better. Not that I can't relate or anything. Yeah, that's totally understandable. Yakumo responds gently to Ito's open frustration with the detectives. Act sympathetic and convince other to talk. Since Magari has seen Yakumo in action many times, only she has caught on to his tricks. Yes, Hataya come by? Huh? Hataya? Yes, the local doctor. We met him at Kudamochi's. He was apparently Akari's high school classmate. So he was yours and Seiya's classmate too. Did you come here to pay respects? Oh, that Hataya. We used to call him Kuko. Man, kids are really mean. He hasn't been here. Not that I know, at least. I may have just missed him.
ああ、ま
Oh, so you haven't seen him yet.
あいつは明るい
Really was in love with Akari.
そういう理由
That might be why he paid his
あちらには
respects
手を合わせ
there.
に行ったんだろ
Is it going to be a case of the last person we talked to turns out to be the true culprit, and that's the game's formula?
惚れてたというのは最
It's
近の
kind of
話ですか
dissatisfying, actually. He was in love with her, as in recently?
まさか
Hell no, back in high
高校時
school.
代の話だ
And to be fair, Akari was a real beauty, so lots of guys liked her.
美形だったからそんなやついくらでもいたけどな
Yeah, I see.
もっともそういう相手は
Yeah, it'd be hard to get someone like her out of mind. Maybe he still liked her after she got married. See, we're all very shallow people who like thinking about pussy a lot. Oh. I can see that happening. Crushes you've never had the chance to date can haunt you.
ちなみにですが
By the way,
高校時代
what was he like towards Akari in high school?
あ
Eh?
あ別に何にもねえ
There's
けど
nothing in particular.
クラスでも目立つ存在であっ
Did
た
you not have
彼
an
女に
interest in the girl who stood out among her class?
頭良くて逆
You
し破
thought
ってる
nothing
女
of
は
smart
好み
girls.
じゃねえからな
Not his
なん
type.
とも思ってなかったよ
He knew the great truth that girls are cuter when they are dumb as hell.
なるほど
I see. Considering this guy's personality, I guess that's no surprise. Anything else?
ちなみにですが
あ
クラスでも目立
あた
なるほど
Alright, that's something, I guess. Yakuma speaks at a distance from Ito's house, where he already knows Sakio can't hear.
さっきの話どう
What
思
did
う
you think of that conversation? I thought it was very circuitous and unenlightening.
さっきのって
Which
刑事に
one?
疑われてるってや
Part
つ
about
で
the
すか
detective suspecting him?
な
Yeah.
あもっとも
A lot of people would get paranoid if they were interrogated over and over, so he might just be overthinking things.
何度も事情聴取に来ら
When
れると
repeatedly interviewed by
自分が疑われ
police,
てる
some
んじゃない
people may
かと
think they're the
疑
ones being
心暗鬼になる人はいる
suspected.
だろうから
So he
彼
may
の
just be
思い
jumping at
過ごしという
shadows.
こともあり得るけどな
Plus, if the police are suspecting him and he actually did do it, that would be really disappointing.
どうすかね顔のそっくり
I
な
don't
双
know.
子ってミステリ
They're
ーじゃ入れ
twins
替わ
that
り
look
トリックなん
exactly
かお
alike.
なじみっすから
And
ね
twin swap tricks are a common mystery trope.
そのあたりで警察も何
So
か
the police
疑
might
ってるの
suspect
か
him because of that.
確かに
Oh, you do see that a lot.
うん例えば死んだのは
Yeah, like
兄の方で
maybe the one who died was actually the older brother.
とか
Seiya's the killer.
そういうのは大体頭部が
Not only the
切断さ
victim
れ
was
たりしてるもん
decapitated
だ
in that case.
今回はただの首
Simply
吊り自殺だか
hanging
ら
like this case, the dental records would give it away.
ああま
I
あ
guess
そう
you
です
got
ね
a point.
それじゃあ
So
入れ替わった
maybe
ふり
they
して
faked a
実は
switch, and so it was the
入れ替わ
younger
ってなくて
Seiya who died
死んだの
after
はやっ
all.
ぱり弟のせいやさんとか
So they faked a switch, which means things are exactly as they look. Don't know if that's what fake means.
そのまんまだよ人
It's
は
not
じゃ
even a twist anymore, Hitoha.
あそっか
Oh. Right. Okay, forget about the radio calisthenics. This girl's a real airhead. Over their 3 days together, Yagumo's mental image of Hito has been slowly overwritten. As Yagumo ponders, Hito suddenly claps her hands and speaks up.
あ実は倉持夫人と不倫をしていた
What
の
if
は
Mrs. Kudamoshi was actually cheating with the older brother
と
Sakio?
か
ほ
Oh?
夫人が好意
If
を
she
抱い
actually
たのは
liked
せいや
Seiya,
さんの
but
方だったん
Sakio
です
switched
けど
places and pretended to be his younger brother so he could go out with her.
弟さんのふりをして付き合ってしまっていた
She thought she was going out with the younger one, but one day she noticed the switch, and to get revenge on Sakyo, she committed suicide. Clearly, that is the most reasonable response. Oh, what the heck? That's a scary thought. Itaha, your theory is way too scary. You're totally going to be the culprit of the last case, aren't you? It's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for— oh god, my spine. It's almost a psychological horror plot. It's a scary theory. But if it's possible, it suddenly complicates this case's relations. Something I want to check in that regard. Not entirely sure what it is, though. Handwriting sample from the letter? Wow. Oh my god, that's not the voice I thought you had. Excuse me. That kinda hurt my vocal cords to do. I'm not gonna do that. As Yakumo enters Kuramochi's mansion, he nearly runs into Hatayo on the way out. Oh, you're the guests from yesterday. I'm Yagumo from Yagumo Studio. We have business relations with Kuramochi. Oh, I see. I will have to visit him. Yes, is he in? Yes, but unfortunately he is resting right now as he feels unwell. I came to deliver medicine, but I couldn't see him, so I handed it off to Miss Shiba. I see. Some medicine for Kuramochi's finger rash? Yes, I couldn't figure out the cause yesterday, but I finally got it and wrote a prescription. Cause? He wasn't stung by a bug? No, it wasn't a bug, it was an allergy. Huh. What sort of allergy? Lacquer? Plywood? Homicide? What? Classified patient information, sorry. Oh, right, of course. Hatayo smiles and nods before he bids farewell and makes his exit. Fascinating, Captain. Shiba's feeding the carp in Kuramochi's garden. Can I look at your medicine for no real reason? So it's your job to feed the carp now, huh, Shiba? Yes. The professor was never interested in them, so now that his wife passed away, it's my job. Truly yours is a thankless lot. Game, I don't know what to do with ah. Everyone falls awkwardly silent. Just gonna let the awkwardness soak in. Become one with the awkward silence. Gaze unblinking into the maw. But then Shiba starts to speak up. Have you heard the rumor in town? Huh? What rumor? You haven't heard anything in particular. Right, Director? Nope. There's a rumor? Well, several people have been talking about it since yesterday, so I'm quite curious.
噂で
What
しょ
sort of rumor is it?
言いますけど
I'll tell
笑わ
you,
ないで
but
くださいね
please don't laugh, okay?
ほう
Okay.
大丈夫
It's okay, we won't laugh.
なら言いますけど
Okay, I'll tell you then.
実は
You see,
太鼓谷稲荷に
a
狐火が
will
現
o
れたん
wisp
です
appeared at Taikadani Inari Shrine. Thing obtained. Court record's getting pretty fat. I hope this ends soon. Huh?
狐火
A will-o-wisp?
それは興味深い。
That's
本物なら
quite
ぜひカメラに収めた
intriguing.
いところだが、
If it's legit, I'd like to get it on camera, but when was it seen?
奥様の亡くなった晩らしくて
The night Mrs. Kuramochi died.
深夜太鼓谷稲荷の
Late at night near
専門取り
Taikadani
の
Inari Shrine's Tori corridor, a will-o-wisp flashed in pure
そこにチラ
darkness.
チラっと狐火が光ってたとか
So the thing that actually proves is that there's a flash of light. That could mean anything.
10分ほどその狐火がチラチラと千本鳥居の中腹あたりを揺らめ
For
いて
about 10 minutes, it flashed in the middle of the Tori corridor and then disappeared entirely. What do you mean when you say it flashed? If you say it flashed, I'm envisioning someone like turning off an electric light bulb on and off really quick, like they're doing a light switch rave. I get the impression that's not what you're going for. Yakumo tries to mentally visualize Shiba's words. Underneath a pitch-black sky lies Suwano Castle's mountain like a giant lump of coal. The Tori corridor transforms into a staircase from the spirit world. A ghostly light rising up from below. Excuse me, it feels too real to be a dream. I know, because if I were capable of sleeping anymore, I would. It's as if the living history and folklore of Tsuwano. Whack.
うわ怖っ想像したらめっちゃ怖い光景っすよそれ
Oh, it's scary. It's damn scary.
それに奥様の
Since Mrs. Kuramochi died that night, many say it's Inari, leading her soul away.
んじゃないかなんていう人もいてさらに怖っ
Meep. That's even scarier, who?
監督やばいっすよ
Director, this place is crazy. First UFOs and now will-o-wisps? It's like an occult convention. They're going to do the mash. The monster mash.
UFO はともかく
Forget about the UFOs for now. Shiba, you sure it's not an illusion or something?
多分
Well, lots of people say they saw it, so I doubt it's just a hoax. Shows you my back so you know I'm serious. As Malgari and Hirtaha shiver in fear, Yagumo crosses his arms in thought. Perhaps inspired by Malgari's fear, Yagumo shudders at the thought that there could be some frightening secret lurking in the shadows. Is that note still here? There's no sign of any officers in the hallway leading to Mrs. Kuramochi's room. Seems the outside investigation's over as the police tape has all been removed.
入れるみたいですね
Looks like we can go in.
なあ、一応
Yeah.
部屋の中を確認
Let's
してお
check
こ
the
う。
room for now.
こりゃひどいやり
It's
さ
such
ま
a
っすね
mess.
掃除大変っす
I
よ
hate to be the one who's gotta clean up. The room's littered with tape marking off evidence and aluminum fingerprinting powder. Just spilled all over the room in case the couple tried to walk away on their hands or something. Guess this really is how crime scenes turn out. Yeah, investigation's a dirty job, but someone's gotta do it. Why don't we do some ourselves? Hasn't been cleaned up yet, so the police must have preserved the crime scene as it was when the body was discovered. It's on the wall. It's a window facing the hallway with a small panel of decorated glass. Does it open? That window over there opens. Shiba used this window to check on Mrs. Kuramochi before 3 p.m. on the day of the incident, right? Probably. I doubt she'd go all the way outside to peek through that window over there. From this angle, all she'd be able to see is Mrs. Kuramochi's upper body in the rocking chair. So if it wasn't in the rocking chair, if it was, say, laying face down on the floor... I see what you're picking up, game. I'm picking up what you're putting down. It means she didn't notice the metal basin placed on the floor. The window faces the hallway. The window's completely fixed in place, doesn't look like it slides open or anything. Unlike this window. This window faces outside to let sunlight in. It's cracked open a little. Indeed. The window's been opened at a slight angle so that there's a small gap at the top. It's weird. If you're going to commit suicide by chlorine gas, you'd seal the room airtight, right? Oh, chlorine gas sinks, so I don't think a crack like this would be enough to ventilate. But... if that's it on suicide, you'd at least be thorough enough to close it, right? The skylight window's open slightly. It's not big enough for an intruder to get in, huh? But is it big enough for a bottle of detergent to get in? That is the question. Just to be sure, Yagumo carefully examines where Mrs. Kuramochi sat. Is there a poison needle on her seat or some trick like that? He stares at the seat and back of the chair. There's no evident tampering. Right chair where Mrs. Kuramochi sat? Just looking at the chair brings back memories of how Mrs. Kuramochi died that day. She died as she died. Dead. There's white powder all over the floor. Do we avoid stepping on it? Nah, they probably finished fingerprinting long ago, so it shouldn't be a problem. Oh. Idaha nods, but still does her best to avoid stepping on powder as she walks around the room. Other than the aluminum powder on the floor left by the police, there's no visible difference. The police took the paper, dang it. So other than that, there's nothing overly suspicious here. That's everything there is to find here. Guess we'll leave and come back later. You got anything to say in your defense, old man? No, he doesn't exist anymore. How upsetting. There's nobody to be found in the reception room. Alright, the doctor said Kuramochi was resting since he wasn't feeling well. Right. He's asleep. We shouldn't wake him up. Yagumo gently closes the door. And just to round things off, there's nobody in the kitchen, just the result of Shiba's fruitless struggle against the trash, you could at least take them outside. Is it gonna be like this until trash day? You know, I'm just thinking about this trash being left out in the seasonal heat. There's a putrid smell spreading already, causing Yakumo to run away from the kitchen. Yes, run, run, coward! You'll never be able to escape. Guess we should go to Taikadani Inari Shrine since it's the only real lead we've got. When they get up to Taikadani Inari Shrine, they spot some unexpected faces. Huh? Those are the detectives, right? Are they interviewing people? Detectives? Doing detective work? I never thought I'd see the day. Well, if the investigation's still ongoing, they must have doubts about it being a lover's suicide. If they're interviewing here, then judging by what we just saw, they must suspect Sakio Ito. Probably. Well, then we could get some information about the case out of them. You're good at bullying people, you do it. Why don't we try talking to the detectives? Why don't you try talking to the detectives if it's so goddamn easy? Fine, I guess I'll let myself be railroaded. Are you interviewing detectives? That was a good object lesson in proper comma placement, huh? Ah, you guys again. Small town. We're bound to bump into each other. There's only like 5 places we can go. Anyway, looks like you're still investigating. Are there still doubts about the case? Well, that's classified information. We have no obligation to tell civilians, maggot! Hey, come on. We solved one mystery together last night, didn't we? We're on the same side. It doesn't mean we can just divulge classified case information. I'm so mad all the time. Move along. Doesn't seem like they're willing to talk. The detectives shoo Yakumo away like a dog. Deal with this. It's no use. Doesn't look like we're getting anything out of them. Well, desperate times call for desperate measures. Oh, you've got a plan? Well, kinda. Hey, Hita. Huh? Me? Yeah. I've got a favor to ask you. Makari whispers into Hita's confused ear. Must be sad having confused ears. Makes hearing so much harder. Hita is surprised and confused at what she hears, but eventually she nods reluctantly. Alright, time to suffer. Excuse me, detectives. Yakumo calls out to the detectives once again. But this time, he brings Hitaho with him. You sure are persistent. We're not talking. Keep it up and it's obstruction of justice. That's totally a real crime people get arrested for. Well, if the investigation's not over yet, that means we're still suspects and can't really location scout. Boo-hoo, that's how investigations are. Deal with it. Yeah. Now do your civic duty and deal with it. But we're so anxious. Ita. Ita murmurs anxiously as her eyes tear up. As a big fan of hers, Keiichino starts stammering. I feel so uneasy thinking you two suspect me. I can't sleep at night. You're fine, Hita. I don't see you as a suspect. But if the investigation's not over, that means there's some doubt cast over us, doesn't it? No, there's no doubt cast on you at all, Hita. Mrs. Kuramoto's autopsy found sleep meds in her system, so we're tracking that down. Alright, we got our 1 point of synesthesia. We accomplished our goal. Sleep meds. Yakumo reacts to Keiichino's words. Upon realizing what just happened, Misawa elbows Keiichino in the guts. Oi. Ag. Susumi-san. Hold on. Are mean? There's a possibility Mrs. Kuramoto took sleep meds for a chlorine gas situation? Suima sighed. It's a little strange. But if to reduce her suffering and fear, it makes some sense. Is there something more suspicious than that? Who knows? No more questions. Keiichino? Did anything else happen? The sleep meds aren't over the counter, so there's a question of where she got them. You know, maybe from a doctor or something. Maybe from the one doctor in the entire case. Don't tell them that, you idiot! Ow! Ow, my balls. Keiichino gets hit hard on the head, which is where he keeps his balls. In the opposite of most men. And yet, Yakumo keeps piling on the questions. It wouldn't make sense to continue investigating on the question of the sleep meds alone. By your behavior, detectives, it seems you're suspecting murder and not suicide. Is there some sort of reason to suspect murder? We're not gonna answer that. Now hurry up and get... Keiichino, what's happening? Well, after last night, we had the toy capsules fingerprinted, but the only prints we could find were Mrs. Kuramochi's, so... The only prints were Mrs. Kuramochi's? Ultimate punch! See, that actually does make sense, because they did the same gag in the movie. Stop talking already! That's it, he's dead now. Furious Detective Misawa's spin kick sends Detective Keiichino flying back. Domestic and workplace violence is funny. Studio Yakumo quickly retreats, leaving the two detectives to sort out their rage. They get halfway across the Tori corridor and stop when they know the detectives aren't looking. Diabolical laughter. Diabolical acting. It all comes together. Yeah, now. As a result, we got precious info. So it was worth it. What's a few broken jaws between friends? Nice idea, Nagari. You've grown quite cunning by doing dirty deeds under my direction. And at a reasonable price, too. Well, that's business. Bam, bam. Would you not call them dirty deeds? Especially when you're the one making me do them. Ah, but it's the truth. Can't handle the truth.
たくも
Oh, for crying out loud.
でも例のカプセ
What?
ル
If the only fingerprints in the capsules are Mrs. Kutamochi's, what does that mean? If last night's solution to the puzzle is correct, then it should make sense to find Seiya Ito's prints. Unless, of course, they weren't left by Seiya Ito and they wanted to avoid us finding that. Maybe the fingerprints washed away in the aqueduct? Then how did we find other fingerprints? Now fingerprints are formed with skin oil, so floating in water is not enough to erase them. Which means he made sure not to leave prints? If he did, that'd be a little odd. If he was gonna off himself anyway, why hide that? Curiouser and curiouser. Alright, what now? Back to the streets of Suano? Probably not. Ito's house has gotten quiet and devoid of human presence. Nobody's around. Let's break in. You're trying the bell? Whether Sakido might be in there. Yaguma tries ringing the bell several times. But no matter how long they wait, there's no sign of anyone coming out. Rad. Does Yoshinaga Rice Store guy have anything for us? He's an eccentric character, he does know things. Oh right, Ito's house is behind here, isn't it? Maybe the owner can tell me something about Seiya Ito. With that thought in mind, Yakumo turns to the owner. Excuse me. Are you close to the late Seiya Ito? Me? Not really. He wasn't exactly sociable. Oh. If you want to know more about him, why don't you try asking at Fundoya? He often bought incense there, apparently. Man smoked like a chimney. Fundoya? Oh, you mean the Fundoya Shichiyama Mercantile House? Yes, exactly. That's the place. You know about the place, Magari? It's a Tsuno tourist attraction. I put it on the list for location scouting, but forgot about it due to the whole mess. I see. Perfect. Let's go visit that shop, then. Roger. I'll go make an appointment. Nagari immediately makes a call as they leave Yoshinaga Rice Store. Well, it's new. I sure hope we get an event flag for going there, otherwise I'm gonna be real mad. I know Kung Fu. I mean, is it really that nice? Looks alright, I guess, but as Studio Yakumo arrives for their appointment, a well-mannered couple greets them. Stop introducing new characters. Once inside the Tatami room, the visitors stare in wonder at the historic atmosphere. This house was built in Gai 6. Its residents have taken good care of it since. You can see old houses used for farms, but it's rare to see one used as a mercantile house. True. As a result, we've been designated as a tangible cultural property, Shani. It's amazing. Is it okay for us to be here? No, absolutely not. Please don't worry. In fact, we offer guests tea ceremonies for the garden view here. tea ceremonies? What are those? Indeed. Tea culture is quite developed here since Chuana promoted tea in the Edo area. Advertisement. This place seems so historic. I'm losing my sense of time. Wake up, Margaret! You've been in a coma for 17 years! I know, right? Wow, such a bevy of choices, I don't know which to pick. Go to see something interesting. The husband pulls out an account book from a chest with Hell Record handwritten on the cover. It's an old artifact, the likes of which Yagumo had only seen in period dramas and Edo artwork. Hell Record? That's kind of a scary name, but at the same time also metal as hell. It's an old record of loan debts, so it certainly was scary to the borrowers. And with that, he flips through the account book. As Yagumo looks on with great curiosity, he notices some familiar words. Does that say Kuramochi? Yes, they owned a lot of land in the Edo period, so they must have had some business transactions. I'm very old, you see. Huh. So they were that influential back then. Yes, even 2 generations ago in the Showa era, they owned the mountain forest behind the house. 2 generations ago? So what about now? Oh, well, I don't know. I'm not suspicious. The owner gives a vague answer. He probably doesn't want to divulge someone else's financial status, so Yagumo doesn't press him. Excuse me, there's something I'd like to ask. Oh, what is it, Sonny? It's about the recently departed Seiya Ito. Oh. He was a suicide victim in a small town. It's only natural the whole town would know. When his name comes up, pity fills the couple's faces. Poor lad. He was so young. He would often purchase incense from us. Quite a serious fellow, that one. Incense? Yes, severe asthma gave him many sleepless nights, so he used sleep-enhancing incense. Everyone in this case was on something. Is there anyone in this case who was sober at the time of the crime, perhaps? That might be enough to solve it right then and there. Oh. Synesthesia phrase. Say about severe sleep incense for severe did that all that shit. Asthma. Was that bad? Yeah. So what was that line read? He would have attacks so bad it was painful to watch. I see. The accessory peddler did say the man thought to be Seiya Ito wore a mask. Was it for asthma? Or was it to conceal his face and hide a switcheroo? I think 2 people would die of strange causes on the same day. What's going on? Indeed. Taikudani Inari seems mad too. What about Taikudani Inari? Oh, nothing! I'm not suspicious. You are maddeningly unhelpful. I'm going to leave now. Alright, hit up everything and get a free yogurt.
忘れてた。
Oh, I forgot.
なんすか？
Forgot what?
いや、
Washihara Hachimangu's famous for horseback archery, so we should film the horse track.
そっち。
ああ、品川する気まだあったん
You're
ですね。
stuff for location scouting, huh?
当たり前。
Of course I am. I just
忘れ気味にはなってたけど。
forgot.
正直、私も
Honestly, I kind of forgot our original goal too. It's really little more than an excuse to do the things this game's actually about.
まあ、ともかく。
Oh, anyway.
今からや
Close
ってみよ
by, so let's go visit. As per Yakumo's suggestion, they head towards the horseback archery ritual grounds to film. And then they did. Tokima's the Yasuka Shrine. Red. He's slowly moving around the main building, perhaps shooting footage with his camera.
う。時間さん、今日は
Don't cameraman work today, Tokima? Hey, how's it going? You working hard or hardly working? Ah ha ha, a little shop talk for you.
ええ、ほら。
Yeah, well, Ito's my raider, and he's busy dealing with his brother's
お父さんの
death.
事後処理もしなきゃだから。一応今日は私がカメラマン
So
代わり
I'm
ってわけで
doing
す
my cameraman work for now.
の普段は伊藤さんが
Does Ito normally do it?
うん。
Yeah,
なかなかそっ
he's
ちの方
more
が
skilled
良くて
than
ね
I am. Look. Tokima rummages through his shoulder bag. Eventually, he pulls out a magazine.
これ先月号の記事
Here's an
なんですけ
article
どね
from last month's issue. He opens up to a certain page and shows it to Studio Yagumo.
ん？ライター名のところ
Writer
に
credit does indeed say
伊藤さん
Sakio
の名
Ito.
前があるっすね。
そうこれ
Right.
先月取り上げた
He did all of the writing and photography for the article.
ここの記事と写真
Live the legend of
彼の
Uda.
手によるものなんですよ
Bibi. Live the good life in the off-world colonies.
この木の城の写真なん
This
か
photo of Key Castle is such a dynamic composition, doesn't it?
おー、確かに。
Whoa, it sure
かな
does.
でさんから見て。
What do you think, Kanade?
いいっすね。
Good. Kanade gives Maggie a deep nod in agreement. Jesus Christ, he can talk. Now he uses a different medium. As a cameraman, Kanade can vouch for Sakio Ito's skill. He's got a few people problems, but with this skill, I can see why he's valued as a writer. So that is a test we could put him through to determine if he's, actually an imposter. And it's on a station.
監督、ここに何の用
Director,
があ
do
る
we
ん
have
ですか？
business here?
いや、例の入れ替わり説。
Well, I wanted to double check that switcheroo theory, so I thought I'd ask the accessory
もう一度
guy.
話を聞いてみようと思ったんだ。
Jesus wouldn't lie to us, would he?
入れ替わり説って私
Switcheroo
が言った
theory.
夫人と付き合ってた
You mean
の
how
は
I said it could have been
実は
Sakio
伊藤
Ito who went out with Mrs. Kurumochi?
自分で言っておいてなんですけ
I
ど
know he said it, but it's just a fun theory. I don't think it's actually right.
ま、全ては可能性さえ
Everything's possible.
それを一つ一つ
Aired on
改善
possibilities,
して
and
そし
eventually
て
you'll
確定的
reveal the
事実へと
truth.
変えていけばおのずと真実は明らかになるってわけだ。
Hey Jesus, I got words with you.
あれ
Huh? You aren't Jesus. You couldn't be played by Danny DeVito in any sort of movie.
店員さんちょっと見ない間
You
に
take your eyes off him for a second and he's starting to look real feminine.
いや、完全に女
No,
性
that
だ。
woman's just a different
前
person
日
from
の
the
方
guy
と
the
別
other
の人じゃね
day.
えか。
They talk to each other in front of the stall. The shopkeeper cheerfully calls out to them.
何？
What's up?
話をして
What
る
you
の？
talking about?
いや、
Oh, We bought accessories the other day and we wanted to see the shopkeeper who was here.
ああ、彼。
Him. He went out for lunch. I'll probably be back once he's done with his lunch break.
戻ってくると思うけど。なんか用だったの？
What'd you need him for?
返品とか
If there are returns or complaints, please refrain. No, there's just something we wanted to ask you about.
話を聞きたかったんですよ。
あ、そう。
I see.
あ、後でまた
In that case, come back later. I'll tell him you were looking for him.
言っとくから。
なあ、そうします。
Yeah, will do. Cool. I just gotta keep hitting places till we arrive somewhere. If they're back at Yoshinoya, Yagumo quickly instructs Kanade.
かなで、今す。
ああ、だったら。
I already got our backups. It's even a good piece of filler dialogue. Magic, can I ask you about your pills now? Boop. Shiba sweeps the garden with a bamboo broom.
結構芝
You
さ
gotta
ん。
sweep in the garden? You do a lot around here, Shiba.
そりゃそうですよ。
Like,
警察の
yeah.
人がいろいろ踏み荒ら
Police
してくれちゃってます
trampled all
から。
over things. I gotta clean up after them.
本当は屋内の
I
掃
really
除
want
も
to
しちゃい
clean
たいんです
inside
け
the
ど。
house too, but I don't want to make too much noise.
なあ、そうい
Alright,
や、倉持
Kurumochi's
さん
not feeling
体調
well,
悪いんだ
huh?
っけ？
ええ、
Right.
奥の部屋でお休みに
He's
なって
resting
ます
inside, so I don't want to make
あ
too
まり
much
物音は立
noise.
てないようにしてるんです。
なるほど。
I see.
俺たちも
I'll be
気をつけ
careful
ます
then.
よ。
はい、お願いしますね。
Yes, please do. Anyone here now?
そういや、
なあ、
Yeah, I very much doubt there's gonna be anything new with the crime scene. Just look at it. So I will take this opportunity to leave. Riveting gameplay experiences. The detectives went the shrine grounds. They must be investigating elsewhere. Now can we go inside the second crime scene now? Running out of places, Boke.
誰も。
チャイム。
な
No one here. Nothing here. Nagumo relaxes as they visit Yoshinaga Rice Store. Every reason he goes to the
な
store.
んか聞いたことない飲み物、店頭で売ってたんすけど。
That's not a good drink. You should not eat that.
聞いたことないの。
What is it?
瓶のジュー
Some
スみ
sort
た
of
いな
bottled
んです
juice
け
called
ど。
Pussy.
フラッシーとかいう名前で。
You ever heard of it,
監
Director?
督知ってます？
Oh no, just bring it out. Bring out the kinks in my shoulders. We've been here a while. Alright.
プラッシー。
Plus,
俺も知らないな。
can't say I have.
ご当地飲料
Is
が
that a local drink?
ああ、それなら。
Oh, that. The owner cuts in, seemingly having heard the three's conversation.
ご当地飲料じゃな
It's
くて
not local, it's sold nationwide.
全国発売してる
Plus, is a staple of old rice
昔から米屋
stores.
といえばプラッシュ
なんで
Why
お米
do
屋さんに
rice
ジュー
stores
スを？
sell juice? Woman, you ever tried eating rice dry?
もともと発売元が製薬会社
It's originally sold by a pharmaceutical company who didn't have the supply chain to sell at retail, so they ended up selling primarily at rice stores.
したそうで
へえ、
Hmm,
不思議なジュースですね。
that's some odd juice.
面 面白いな。
Interesting. Why don't we try some? Yes. Let us fill our mouths with buxley juice.
いいっすね。みんなで飲みましょう。
Each buy a bottle of Plusy and taste it for the first time. Come on. Tastes like oh, they're not even gonna tell us. Great. Good job, team. I'm so proud of you. Pokemon's at Yasuka Shrine appear in the LCD monitor of his digital
写真
camera.
の確認っすか？
Pokemon, you're checking out your photos? Yeah, checking what I just shot.
何か問題
No
でも？
problem? No, it's just that my shots are a bit lacking compared to Ito's, which I don't know what's off.
なあ、だった
Oh,
ら
we're
うち
gonna
の
let you
カ
collect
デ
some
に
by
ちょ
some
っと
Canada?
アドバイスさせましょうか。
Video and still photography may differ, but there's gotta be at least some
ある程度
overlap
は
in
共通す
know-how.
るノウハウあるはずですから。
ああ、それは
Ah,
助かりま
yes,
す。
please. That'd be a big help. For a while, Studio Yagamo, Master Kanade, gave Tokima some photography advice. Okay, but how do I obtain, game progression flags? Can I talk to Jesus now? Have I wasted enough time? I will never get back. Is the accessory pedal still open today? There's the fella. Take your sweet time. Oh man, came to buy something again?
いや、
No, just wanted to ask a bit more about the couple you told us about yesterday.
もう少し詳しい話を聞かせてほしいんだ。
詳しい話って言われても
Or, like,
昨日言った通り
they said yesterday, that was like
半年前のことだからな
half a year ago, man.
確か男の方
You
は
said the man was
マスク
wearing
し
a
てたって言って
mask,
ただろ。
right?
ああ、それは間違いないよ
Yeah, that I do remember. No doubt about it.
それで
So did he have any sort of obvious symptoms? Like
例えばひどく咳込ん
an
でた
asthmatic?
あ
Oh, right. He did have a coughing
思い出し
fit.
た思い出した
I remember now. Like, I totally do, man.
本当か。
Really?
背中曲げて偉い
Back, like, hunched over from the pain, dude.
さすってあげて
The
たけど
woman tried comforting him.
あれ多分ひどい
That
喘息
probably
のおっさん
was
じゃない
like
か
an
な
asthma attack, huh?
知り合いにいるけど
I know
似たような
asthmatics
感
who
じで大変
like
そうだった
suffer the same way.
そうか。
I see.
お
Okay,
一つ確
thanks.
認できたよ。
There's one thing
あ
up.
りがとう。
Thank you so much.
こんだけでいいの
Huh? Sounds like it.
なあ、十分だ。
Yeah, probably. And then we never heard the word of Jesus again. Yagama steps away from the stall and hulls up for a discussion.
やっぱり夫人と付き合
Apparently
ってい
seems
た
like it
のは
was Seiya who was
クレア
dating
さん
Mrs.
の方で間違いなさそう
Kudamachi.
ですね。
Sakyo's not asthmatic after all,
喘息持ちの様子はない
as
で
far
す
as
し。
we know.
まあ入れ替わりって言っても
Well, even if there was a
そんなところで
switcheroo, I
しっか
doubt
り
he'd take his
演技して
acting
る
that
とは思えないですか
far.
らね。
Hmm.
どうかしたんすか監
What's
督。
wrong, director?
いや、
Wait,
咳。
coughing fit?
何かあったような。
Why does that seem
なんだったか
familiar?
な、思い出せな
What
い。
was it? I can't remember. It's been like a month since the last time I played this game. Yagamo scratches his head as he tries tugging at the tangled threads of memories inside. The others look odd and concerned. His brain flashes back to events leading up to today. Kita has radio calisthenics. Scuffle between Sakyo Ito and Kudamochi. The discovery of Mrs. Kuramochi's body. Finally. I see. Back then. Nagama suddenly shouts and pops open his eyes. Oh, don't shock me like that. What's wrong, Director? The Hoshiai Festival! We were shooting at the Hoshiai Festival! We were filming from Shoshinaga Rice Store. There was a guy who was coughing, right? Remember? Ah. Kuramochi gave him a warning. Yeah, him. That was Seiya Ito, wasn't it? Apparently we didn't know that before now. If so, maybe Kuramochi wasn't just warning him about his coughing. You mean... Kanade? Hmm? Did you catch that instant on film? I'm insulted you asked. Great. Go to the end and check the footage. Thank God. Progress. Yakumo impatiently leads his studio to the inn. But they're still gonna make us do that manually. Back at Yoshinoya, Studio Yakumo checks the Heron's Dance footage in the parked van. Since the files have already been split, they easily find the scene in question. Has it? Alright, Director. Look, that Kurochi's talking to looks just like Sakio, but with a mask and different hair. And this time, Kuramochi definitely talked to Seiya Ito. Alright. All the pieces coming together. That really was Seiya Ito, huh? His estimated time of death is between 4 and 6 p.m. But this footage was filmed at 4:50 a.m. So he had to have died after that. Yeah. So right before he died, he talked with Kuramochi. What did they talk about? Damn it. We could hear their conversation. Is there anything you can do about that, Magare? Literally anything. I'm begging you here. No way. Note the shotgun mic pointed away and at a distance, and with them whispering like that. Can't just say computer-enhanced audio? Okay. Guess it's time to bring out the big guns. Magari, time to show off your special skill. Liberate and go! Roger that. Magari presses the replay bar and seriously stares at the screen. Tension fills the van. That ain't no special skill of mine. Figures. Okay, I know I joined in on the joke, but please don't be ridiculous. Sorry. Magari and Yakumo's shoulders slump. Beside them, Hito suddenly leans in and points at the screen. Huh? Pause it right there. What's wrong? I noticed something curious. Look. This is the bit that catches my eye. Look at Kuramochi's hand. You holding something? You're right. Looks like he's showing it to Seiya Ito. Reacting to what they said, Malgady zooms in on Kuramochi's hand. 2 times. 3 times. Enhance. 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 Goodness me, you took a thing from the crime scene. How suspicious. Everyone gasps. Sounds like the accessory Mrs. Kuramochi was wearing. We had this the whole time and we just didn't think to look. Right, do we have enough? Can we take the shot now? Put them up side by side and look! She lines up the printed picture of Mrs. Kuramochi's accessory next to the screen. Side by side, the similarity is a little too clear. Kuramochi's got the accessory his wife got from Seiya Ito, shoving it right in the man's face. Is he telling him, I know you two are cheating? Even if he is, the accessories from the shop are all handmade and one of a kind, remember? So how did Kuramochi have it at the time when it was on his wife's body when she died? Well, maybe he gently put it on her neck when he discovered her body while choking on gas fumes? Really, that's the most reasonable explanation. Well, I mean, Sheep is complicit. They both went to her room at the same time. There's also that. She doesn't look like the type to be complicit in a case like this, you know? You're right. Yagumo and Malgady furrow their eyebrows as they ponder this new, inexplicable truth. Itaha then raises her hand. May I share my opinion? Permission to speak freely, sir. Go ahead, Itaha. Okay. Well, I've got a theory, and it might have something to do with Kuramochi's finger rash. Huh? How so? Someone I know has this hobby, you see. I see. That's certainly a possibility. My god. Dr. Kuramochi was Jesus! I'd like to get some more proof, but... Dr. Hatoya said he figured out what it was. We've got no choice but to ask him. But I don't think he'll divulge private patient information. Normally he wouldn't, but if my hunch is correct, he's got a weakness we can use to make him talk. Gee... It made me laugh. I was kind of banking on this case ending by now. I have not eaten lunch yet. But... weakness? Yes, if we just abuse that weakness, then... yeah. That's not a good look on your face. That's a little scary. Only a little, though. Alright, to Hatiya Clinic then. Sure, why not? Don't know why it goes in a circle if you just push left, right. Studio Yakumo walks up to Hatiya Clinic. Thanks to the map Marguerite put on her phone before the incident, they easily find the cozy clinic. At least your voice is funny. Oh. You're all here together. I say that and then I realize I've completely forgotten how I did it. Is someone feeling bad? Oh no, Doctor. I just wanted to ask something related to Mrs. Kuramochi and Seiya Ito's deaths. As soon as Yagumo says that, Hatoya looks clearly on guard. That excess caution is enough to convince Yakumo about Hatoya's weakness.
それは
And,
何でしょう
well, what might that be?
僕に聞かれても
Oh,
お
don't
答えできるような
think
こと
there's
があ
much
る
I
と
can
は思いません
answer.
が
いや、先ほど
Well,
も伺いましたが、
I asked earlier about
倉持
Kudamochi's
さんの
finger
指を欲しい。
rash.
あれ、
That's some sort of
何のアレ
allergy,
ルギーだっ
right?
たんです？
なんだ
Oh,
そういうこ
that's,
とですか
sorry,
それなら
because I
こちらも
mentioned
先ほ
I
どお
can't
答えした
answer that
通り
due to
コン
the
プライアンスの観点から
confidentiality
お答えする
compliance.
ことはできませんあなた方が警察の
It
人間
would
だ
be
っ
a
たら
different
別ですけど
story if you were
ね
with the police, though. I knew it wouldn't be that easy. In that case, sorry, but you leave me with no choice.
鳩谷先生、
Dr.
どうして
Hatoya,
も教えていただ
are you
くこと
sure
は
you
できませ
can't
ん
tell
か？
us? Not even with this gun? That's probably not the plan.
すいませんが
I'm sorry,
僕
because
も
a
医師として
doctor,
守
there
らな
are
ければなら
rules
ない
I
ことはあり
simply
ますの
must
で
uphold. One of them is speaking in a ridiculous accent. Oh god, we're fighting
医
already!
師として守らなければならないことですか。ま
Didn't
あ、
see this coming.
医師というのは格別に倫理観が
Rules
求
you
められ
must
るもの
uphold
で
as
しょ
a
う。
doctor, huh? Oh yeah, doctors have a strict ethical code.
古代より
Medical practitioners have long upheld the Hippocratic Oath, or so I heard.
なんてものもあると聞いてます。
よくご存知で
You're well
人々の生
informed.
活に関して見聞きしたもの
So, you know it says whatever I see or hear in the lives of my patients, I will keep secret. Correct.
僕もそれを守りたいと
I
いうこ
wish
とです
to uphold that part.
なるほど。
I
確
see.
か自
I
分
do
も
vaguely
思いですが
remember that
こ
line,
んな項目があったよ
but I
な。
also remember this one.
求められても知
I
恵を
will
与
not
え
give
ず
a lethal
そういう
drug
助
to
言もしない
anyone if asked, nor will I advise such a plan. As soon as Yakumo firmly recites that line, Dr. Hatoya quickly turns pale. Noticing that change, Yakumo carefully chooses his next words as he moves in for the checkmates.
もう一度言いますよ。
Let me say that one more
求められても
time.
知薬を与
I
えず
will not give
そう
a
いう助
lethal
言も
drug
しな
to
い。
anyone if asked, nor will I advise such a plan.
これも当然守ってお
You
られ
do
る。
uphold that part as well, correct?
当たり前でしょ
Of course.
さっきからあなた
What are you
何
trying
をおっしゃ
to
りたいんです
imply?
そうですね。
Oh, you
倉
see,
持夫人の死に関
it's
す
got
る
a
こ
little
となん
something
で
to
す
do
が
with Mrs. Kuramochi's death. You know, the one piece of evidence we have that involves any amount of medicine. I don't really know if I'd consider, sleeping medication fatal, especially in this day and age when they basically don't give out any medication that gives people fatal overdoses, but you know, he did give it out specifically for use in murder. Don't think it has anything to do with the smartphone, at least. 3, 2, 1. Happy New
睡眠
Year!
薬が検出されたそうなんです。それも
Mrs. Kuramochi's autopsy found sleep medication. And it was prescription strength, too.
この辺りでそんなもの
In
が
a
手に
small
入りそう
town
な
like
ところといえ
this, I
ば
figure this clinic is the only place to get something like that.
いやそれなら
If we headed all the way to the bell, we get a
朝方やってきた
prize.
警部さんにも聞かれましたよ
Well,
でも
the detectives already asked about that.
僕は
But I already told them. I don't know.
そもそも僕があかりさんに
Why would I even have a reason to prescribe something like that to Akari?
それはどうかな。
I don't know.
夫人の
I
頼み
can
な
see you giving her a prescription if she asked.
なぜなら
After all, the pond draws water from the aqueduct. No, it's the one where you liked her.
そう
You liked her back when she was your classmate in high school, didn't you? That's why you helped get her killed. Makes perfect sense. What? Who told you that? Nadia starts trembling at Yagumo's words. Seeing that as a sign to spring into action, Yagumo keeps talking without answering Hatoya. I understand. Even as an adult, you still have feelings for her, right? If someone like that begged for a prescription, I wouldn't blame you for giving it to her. Hey, cut it out. I told the police I didn't prescribe it to testimony. No, I'm not. Eh? As far as I can tell, you're an upstanding citizen. I don't think you'd lie to the police. Really? Really? But... Do I think you lied? No. Do I think you failed to tell the truth? Possibly. If they don't ask and you don't tell, it's no lie. It's nothing to feel guilty about either. What's... are you implying? You didn't hand over the sleep meds to Mrs. Kuramochi. That part's probably not a lie. But what if you gave the meds to someone else and that someone else handed it off to her? In other words... It's, you gave them to Seiya Ito because of his asthma. You make funny noises. Your nose looks like a pig's. His asthma was so bad he couldn't sleep. You prescribed the sleep meds to him, didn't you? When you heard Mrs. Kuramochi's autopsy results from the detectives, you immediately realized the sleep meds were what you prescribed Seiya Ito. You feared you contributed to her death, so you conveniently failed to mention that fact to the detectives, didn't you? Hatoya droops his shoulders and hangs his head as he slowly murmurs. Yes. Exactly. About a month ago, he said he couldn't sleep. I prescribed him nitrazepam. Into thoughts that it had been used in a Kari's suicide. If I knew it would be used like that, I never would have prescribed it. Never. K.O. You win. Perfect. With his head down, Yagumo gently steps up to Hatoha. He places a hand on Hatoya's shoulder and smiles as he completely changes his tone. Dr. Hatoya, there's no need to worry. You just happened to prescribe the sleep meds. They would have died, with or without them. It wasn't your fault, Doctor. Not one bit. You think so? Yeah. What? We need to reveal the truth of this case for Akari's sake. And we need your help, Doctor. I need you to tell me your credit card number, the 3 digits on the back. So, can you tell us about Kuramochi's allergy? Okay. As if hypnotized by Yagumo's gentle tone of voice, Hataya finally speaks up. Kuramochi's finger rash. It's a resin allergy. I knew it! I knew it! I think I said lacquer, but you know what? They're basically the same thing. Yaguma and Hitoha exchange glances. But they remain silent as Hataya continues. When I was examining him here, I just couldn't figure it out. I knew it wasn't a bug sting, but an allergy. But what? It's hard to tell on symptoms alone. So how did you figure it out? I consulted Kuramochi's personal dentist to see if he knew anything. Apparently, he had an allergy patch test to prepare for an earlier surgery. But it turns out he has a resin allergy. Man, how much stuff do we need in our court record? Resin allergy is Japanese for resin allergy. Yeah, they use resin in some dental surgeries. We see. And there's no doubt about it. Oh, thank you so much for the info. It's a big help. No problem, but how is it related to the case? We'll find out soon enough. Now, if you excuse us, I need to leave very enigmatically in a cool manner. Bye. Dr. Hataya looks confused as Studio Yagumo leaves the clinic. Out on the street, Yagumo stretches wide and takes a deep breath. Somehow we managed to get some info out of him. Now we have proof to back up your theory, Hitoha. Well done. That's not... Why is that a hotkey? Good job, team. Can we confront the culprit now? I was just a bit shocked, you know? Aine told me how you get when you cross-examine someone, but it was my first time seeing it. Oh. Yeah, I can't blame you. It's kind of intimidating, huh? If they haven't done anything wrong, he really pours on the questions. Poor things. Hey, being a detective means ruining people's lives for fun. I should know I'm one of them. On both ends of that equation. Hey, well, that's just a technique to confuse them into revealing the truth. And, I mean, we got the info we wanted. Yeah, but after you ran him down with questions, you asked one last gentle question. Like a demon. Oh, shut up. I'm not a police officer and I'm no superhero either. So what does it matter? Ugh, someone's getting mad. Anyway, we've gotten some useful info. Now we just need to fit in the last puzzle piece. Last puzzle piece? What's that exactly? Does it mean we can end the case soon? Yagumo grins at the girl's questions. The UFO, that's what.
信じてなかったんじゃないんすか?
I don't believe in aliens. That doesn't mean things are physically incapable of being in the air.
いや、今回の
Well, I just realized the most important key to this case was the UFO. Let's check it out now. Let's get it over with quickly. My eyes feel like I'm about to die. It is very stuffy in here. Knowing the girl's dumbfounded looks, Yakumo triumphantly marches away. Yes, look at the footage, find out it's a fucking balloon with a knife on the end or whatever.
どこだ? その UFO とやらは。
Where's the UFO? Hang on. Just a second. You put that tongue away there, children present. Ah, there. See? Right there.
ん?
Oh, you're right, there really is a UFO. There's clearly no other explanation for that. On screen is footage from when the Heron's Dance was dedicated at Yasuka Shrine, shot by Kanade. A black spot clearly cuts through the sky from the left of the frame, swaying up and down, in a manner that would be completely impossible for anything other than an alien. Clearly.
これ確かに UFO にしか見えないです。アイネさん、本当だったんですね。
Yes, that's because you're incompetent.
でしょ? これ
No,
どう見ても
right?
鳥や虫じゃ
There's
ない
no
の。
way it's a bird or a plane.
マガリ。
Magari, can you zoom in?
やってみたけど遠すぎて無
I
理でしたよ。
tried, but it's too far
拡大して
away.
もジャギジャギの
It
ドッ
becomes
ト
a
の塊
blurry
にしかならな
blob
かっ
of
たっ
dots.
そっか。
I
まあいい。
see.
それより。
Oh, that's fine. More importantly...
かなで。
Today?
す。
Hmm?
この映像か
I
ら。
wanna know where this
こい
thing
つが
came
どこから
from
ど
and
こへ
where it
飛んでるの
went.
か知りたい。
Know what camera
カメ
was
ラ方向わ
pointed?
かるか? す。
Hmm. My god, he catches on to what Yagumo's getting at and brings up a map of Tsuano. Kanade and Magari talk things out before coming to an agreement and drawing a red line on the map.
ちょっと UFO との距離感がつかめないから位置
It's
は
a
とり
bit
あえ
hard
ず
to
ですけ
tell
ど
how far away
こ
the
こはこれ
UFO
で間違
was,
い
but
ない
as
と
far
思
as
う。
direction was, it's gotta be this. From Kuramochi's mansion, how curious.
ほう。
Whoa. Not seeing the red line of the map, but Yakumo and Hitoha gasp in surprise. The line clearly connects the area by Kuramochi's to Taikodana Inari's shrine.
これ倉持さんの
It
家
flew
から
from Kuramochi's mansion towards Taikodana Inari's shrine.
どういうことなん
What's
すか
that
ね。
mean? Yeah, Synesthesia is going absolutely mental today. Synesthesia phrase, something about a UFO, I don't know, I just work here.
こうなったら確認しないといけないな。
Guess we'll have to find out ourselves.
一旦解散するが。
Let's split up for now.
深夜0時になったら
Reconvene in my room at midnight, okay?
深夜
At
0時
midnight?
いいですけど。
Hey, but
何
what
をするん
for?
ですか？
Yagamo grins at the girl's confusion.
UFO と
We're going on a UFO and a will-o-wisp hunt. Solution. The solution is where I'm going to be ending this stream off, because I would like to say it's because I think it would be funny to give you all a chance to suffer chewing over the case while we're out. But the honest answer is just that I'm very hot and stuffy in this sealed room, and my head hurts. See you all at a later date, probably. Unless this stomach bug I'm having or whatever it is winds up developing into something worse, we will see each other on Friday with EIT donning connections, and hopefully Hope will have resolved their tech issues by next Monday so we can address this properly. We are going to be raiding Kamiya Mistwalker. It's currently playing Star Fox Adventures. I don't know why she's subjecting herself to that, but she is. I will see you all later. Not soon later, but later. And there's a good chance none of you will be here, because it'll be like 5 hours from now. Oh no, it'll only be like 1 hour from now, because this stream's going 4 hours. That's how math works. Good night, everybody.